So guys, this is the second half of that video, part 2, where we're looking at changes happening on Robb Street in Georgetown, Guyana. This is Republic Bank. It's a Trinidad bank, now operating in Guyana as well. This is Camp Street, the building at the corner of Camp and Regent Street is Footsteps. This is the stall building is Teleperformance. This is the heart of the call center industry in Guyana. These buildings are call centers, and they're building more and more of them all along the coast. So this one is Teleperformance. The company is Teleperformance, but there are other companies like Qualphone and so on that do the same business, and they hire a lot of Guyanese young people to answer calls for customer service calls for a lot of the companies in the US. So this is where it's at. When you call Walmart or Amazon, you might get somebody from Georgetown, Guyana. Remember to say hello if you're Guyanese. Let's take a walk down this second half of Robb Street from Camp Street to the end of the street on Water Street and show you how things are changing, how this is becoming even more commercial. I remember saying in one video that Robb Street used to be the street I was afraid of because of the name Robb, sound like robbery. No longer the case. It's a very safe street. In fact, a couple of times that I've been robbed in Georgetown in the last 10 years were on Hatfield Street. And I made some videos on Hatfield Street. I never mentioned the fact that it's not a safe street to be on. That's the new mall on Regent Street. You can see the back side of that mall from Robb Street. Right, that's the 7-story building we showed you yesterday. But these buildings are all commercial now. That's Kissoon's furniture store. Used to be a major manufacturer and retailer of furniture in Guyana. Now there are lots of other places that sell furniture. And this is a Scotiabank location. Archie's Electrical. So this is mostly commercial property. Now there's a supermarket here, the Guyana Police Force Consumers Co-op Society, and on this side there's a little shopping center with a number of craft stores in this neck of the woods, in this section. Safe space, a community for women is over there. But what's happening here is that even in this neck of the woods, this part of the city, buildings are being renovated, being repurposed, and demolished and rebuilt. So what's happening is that Robb Street is changing, is undergoing the same kind of transformation that Regent Street has undergone and is continuing to undergo. Remember the parking controversy? Now these parking meters, these are the parking meters from that parking controversy. They're actually not in use, although I guess they're still operational, but it failed, right? There was somebody who tried to make a cash grab for parking, right? They thought they would use the same strategy for monetizing parking that they used in North America, but didn't work in Guyana because the Guyanese people don't want to pay for parking. And this is sort of not laissez-faire, but a very loose society as far as rules, and in such a loose culture nobody wants to be forced to pay for parking and to be organized in that way. This is Wellington Street looking south, and this is Wellington Street looking north. Wellington Street becomes Waterloo Street, right, the avenue, as you go past Church Street. But this is Wellington Street and Robb Street intersection, the intersection of Wellington and Robb Street. That's looking back where we came from, that block between Camp and Wellington Street. That's the mall at the corner of Regent and Wellington, which I showed you before in a previous video. So this is also American Home and Beauty Center, is also a new retailer. The last time I took a walk down Robb Street, that building was still under construction, but now it's completed and there is a store inside with lots of retail products. So this is what's happening here on Robb Street in Georgetown. It's a Monday morning, 7:30 in Georgetown. It's a national holiday. That's Colors. Remember I said one of the 7 black-owned Afro-Guyanese owned businesses on Regent Street is Colors Boutique. They're here on Robb Street as well. This is new commercial property, the family store. This is also new. This was not here in the last video when I did this reviewed this street 5 years ago. This building is new on Robb Street, and these are also refurbished or renewed buildings since the last time I was in this neck of the woods. But we're in the heart of the commercial district in Georgetown, and so Robb Street passes through the commercial district, and a lot of these stores are part of that commerce. This is what makes Robb Street the second busiest street in terms of commerce in Georgetown. And it's great to be walking through the street on a holiday, because it would be so crowded on a weekday that would be difficult to walk in the road like I'm doing now, and it would be difficult to walk on the pavement too because of all the foot traffic. But this is what's happening here, guys. This is Robb Street in Georgetown, Guyana, one of the fastest growing countries in the world because of the oil and gas industry, which is has emerged in the last 3 years, and since 2020, right? Oil production in Guyana started in 2020, and this is 2023. So we've had 3 years of oil production now, and it's transforming the city very rapidly, transforming the entire country very rapidly, which is why I'm making these videos again, showing you what has happened since the last time. This is King Street. That's the St. George's Cathedral. This is the new location of the Guyana Securities Council of the Guyana Stock Exchange. So the Guyana Stock Exchange used to be a block west of here. And this is the Guyana Securities Council, also known as the Guyana Stock Exchange. Back then, when I made a video about the Guyana Stock Exchange, I think there were a total of 14 companies on the stock exchange. I'm going to do another video, bring you up to date on how stocks get listed on the stock exchange and what is the current valuation or market capital of Guyanese companies on the stock exchange in Guyana. There are only 14 companies the last time. I'll do an updated video to tell you what's happening. This is King Street looking south towards Regent Street, and that's looking back where we came from. So there's also a lot of commercial development on next street over, which is North Road, and I'll show you that in the next, well, I have to show you both North Road and south of here, which is Charlotte Street. They're also streets that pass through the commercial district, and therefore I have to cover them as well to show you how they're changing. This is Scotiabank, the Canadian bank. I think they were up for sale. I don't know if they managed to find a buyer. And this is also a building now occupied by Chinese retailers. So this building, which had a number of stores on the ground floor, is now owned and operated by Chinese merchants. As you can see, it says China Trading. Alright, China Trading Shopping Center. And there's, of course, the Chinese characters on the building. Again, guys, I am not against Chinese doing business in Guyana. That's not what this video is about. What I'm pointing out is how they are displacing local business. And if you're Guyanese, that is something you ought to be concerned about, because eventually all the commerce will be done by one group of people. And it's not that Guyanese aren't interested in business, because if you look at the sidewalk, this is Hong Tai Trading, another Chinese retailer. So they've replaced whatever used to be here before. This is now a Chinese retailer. If you walk on the sidewalks in Georgetown, you'll find a lot of Afro-Guyanese out here selling and doing commerce just like everybody else, they have just been forced out of the buildings, right? Because they don't have the access. That's the National Library. This is the Bank of Guyana building, Central Bank, and we're on Republic Avenue. Right, that's Republic Avenue in Georgetown. We saw City Hall under renovation in the previous videos. This is where it looks like from Robb Street. That Lucky Star is also a Chinese retailer. So all these buildings where Central Garage used to be, all the retail under that building is now being done by the Chinese. This is Dairy Queen, which is an American fast food chain. And Mario's is also located here. This is where the stock exchange used to be. Guyana Stock Exchange building used to be here in at this intersection. As you can see, the sign is still here, although they have moved to a new headquarters. Right, so this is where the Guyana Stock Exchange was the last time I did the video. This is where I did it from, on Robb Street and Republic Avenue. Can't tell you how amazing it feels to be here downtown without the traffic, because it's a holiday. And like I said, a lot of the sidewalk vendors are Afro-Guyanese. So for those people who are saying, where are the Afro-Guyanese retailers? They're actually on the sidewalk. They just don't own the buildings anymore. And there used to be a lot of buildings on Regent Street. Half of the buildings on Regent Street were in fact Afro-Guyanese owned. And now only 7 of them are left. This is Medimax Pharmacy, another retailer here on Robb Street. Morning. This is the post office, the General Post Office. It's in fact the central post, the largest post office in Guyana. And this is the Hand in Hand insurance company. They have a building here too. Right, down the street, to keep going further down, you get to another mall, and it's an indoor mall, and eventually America Street. So this is the post office. The Ministry of Home Affairs is also now located in this building on the 3rd floor. This is Fogarty's. Right, this building is Fogarty's, and the other building across the street, that's the bank. That's now Republic Bank. Their headquarters on Water Street. And again, there's a number of retailers in this building now. There's Radio Shack. Yes, the Fogarty's building now has a number of retailers. I think I did a walkthrough some time ago. You can go find that building, that video, you'll see. This building is now empty. That used to be another bank, right? So they've actually moved from that. That's another bank. So we're now on Water Street, almost at the end. At the end of Robb Street, there is the wharf, John Fernands Wharf. This is Water Street looking south towards the market. That's Republic Bank, as we said. As you can see, that's Bourda Market. This is another mall. Right, the Water Street Mall, indoor-outdoor mall. So this is where you'll find most of the sellers, the Guyanese, Afro-Guyanese sellers. So the point about that last video is that they are no longer in buildings on Regent Street. They no longer have the power of owning buildings, but they are in the markets and on the sidewalks and in these outdoor shopping areas. So this is what's happening here, guys. This is the end of Robb Street. We're looking at John Fernands. Right, this is John Fernands Wharf. The sign says that's a John Fernands Wharf. They've been in shipping for decades. In fact, they're a well-known shipping company in Guyana that handles the wharf. And this is the end of Robb Street. So Robb Street ends at the Demerara River, and here at this wharf, the John Fernands Wharf. See all the shipping containers? So that's it, guys. That's what's happening here in Georgetown, Guyana. We've just taken a look at Robb Street. That's the shipping containers are offloaded and loaded onto ships here at that wharf, John Fernands Wharf. And in fact, this is where I bring, when I import solar panels from China, as I have done in the past, this is where they get picked up, they get deposited. Containers get deposited here. Most, in fact, of all of, if not all of the retail that is purchased in Guyana comes in at this location, John Fernands Wharf. So that's what's up, guys. This is how Robb Street has changed and is changing, and how development, that is the oil and gas industry, is transforming Guyana, the business community and commercial district in Guyana. If you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. In the comments below, tell me about the changes that you've observed, what you think about the changes here on Robb Street and Regent Street. In the next few videos, I'm going to do the same on Charlotte Street as well as North Road, so you can get a fair idea of how things are changing, how Guyana is changing, and how rapidly things are changing as a result of the oil and gas industry in Guyana. Click like and subscribe, share this video with friends and family around the world, let people know what's happening here in Georgetown, Guyana. Later! Now let's go fly some kites.